All right, so we are live. Yes, everyone has started joining us on this Thursday evening, morning. Okay, let's wait a few more minutes as always before everyone joins us, and then we will start with the slides. Okay, so for today's warm up, for today's icebreaker, as always, let us know where you're from. And as a bonus question, I'm curious, let me know how do you say hi in your language? And I will explain why I'm curious about this, because we will use this for one of our prospecting tips we will discuss today. So let me know where you're from and how you typically say hi in your language. We will wait a few more minutes because I'm from Ukraine, and in typical Ukraine we say something like "Привіт." It means hi. Okay, Boston, hello. Okay, I see. Boston, hello. Ciao, hola, hola, ¿qué tal? I guess. Oh, cool. Hola. Why there's a question mark in the end? Gonzalo, let us know. Curious to know why you used the question mark. Greetings. Oh, cool. Hi, Simon. Okay. So yeah, all right. Just to ask how you're doing. I see. It's wow. We can use it. We can use it for one of our actually tips as well. So we'll see, and I will explain why. Okay, cool. So things are doing great, Gonzalo. Hope you're doing well as well. Okay, let's get started. Let's get started with the presentation itself. Let me start sharing my screen. Um, Share my screen, entire screen. Boom, sharing it. All right. So today we will be talking about like a quite interesting topic called 7 insanely useful prospecting tips no one is talking about. So basically, I decided to create this presentation on some really cool prospecting tips, but for some reason, sales influencers, sales pros don't mention on social or don't write as tips in their guides or in their blog posts, articles, etc. But we will go through them, and I'll explain why these tactics can help you boost your reply rates and reach to more like potential prospects at scale. So before we jump to the webinar itself, I highly encourage you to visit reply.io webinars/webinars. And in 2 weeks, the same time as today, we will have another interesting webinar on 11 proven cold email templates that generate replies. So I will just go through 11 really good cold email templates that we currently use here at Reply and that help us generate replies. And we will also go through some additional things like how to make these email templates work for you using AI or some other techniques and prospecting tips. So feel free to register for the next webinar in 2 weeks, and I will be more than happy to see you there. Okay, so as always, my name is Vlad, and I'm growth leader here at Reply with SDR's background. Just 2 days ago, I realized that I'm currently working as in this space, in tech space, for almost 9 years, and it was like something I didn't realize before. So wow, it's like 9 years. Time flies so fast. So yeah. So that's why I'm so happy to share those things, and because they worked for me as well, basically. So here's what we will cover today. We will talk about 7 interesting prospecting tips. Then I will share guides on how to implement these tips, just step by step guides. And then we will share insanely useful bonus content, so you can implement these strategies. And as always, the Q&A session. So stay tuned. Oh, all right, let's get started with the presentation itself. And here's the first slide. Here's a generic template that I will use an example for all 7 strategies I have in my list. Here's the template itself. Hi, first name. I'm reaching out to you because I noticed on your LinkedIn profile that you're working at company. Given your role, I assume that sales outreach falls in your wheelhouse. Not sure if companies in the market, but since we helped other companies and they all use reply for outreach, I thought you might be interested in improving your sales team effectiveness, open to learning a bit more. So this is a generic template we also use at Reply, but as you can see, there is no personalization, there are no fancy prospecting tips, and I will use it just to explain how this generic template will evolve when we add all these 7 strategies to these prospecting tips to this generic template. And you will see like the evolution of this template, and then we can compare the results basically, right? So we will use this template for all 7 strategies. And the first prospecting tip, typically they're not talking about, is fallback variables. So here's how it works. Imagine you start creating a cold outreach template, and basically you will use some generic variables like first name, company, industry, maybe something else. And lots of cold outreachers, outbound pros, they see when they upload huge lists, let's say 1,000 contacts, 2,000, 5,000, even 10,000 contacts to their list, to their sequence or campaign, there is a huge chance that some of these variables are missing in their CSV file or their spreadsheet file. So here's when fallback variables come in. So instead of like when we add this fallback variable, all prospects in our sequence will still be processed, right? We will still send them cold emails, even though they don't have a specific variable like first name or company name. So, and when it comes to cold outreach, what typically I see here's the situation, right? So you have a huge list, and then you have first name, you have title, you have company, and we can see these blank, spots, right? White spots and white spaces. It means that we don't have data, right? And we can't find it. So, but we still want our emails to be sent to these prospects. So that's why we use these fallback variables. And when it comes to them, we can use the variable in our email template, and then we can add a fallback variant. For example, first name, hi there. We help companies in industry. We can say by default, we help companies in B2B space. How about quick chat? For example, when it comes to company, you can say your company. When you want to use job title, you can use a default version of your variable, let's say sales leader, because you know that typically you target salespeople, right? Or C-level employees or VPs of product, for example. And the same with department. So you know that you don't add, let's say, people from recruiting or from HR departments. You know that typically you look for salespeople. So you can use these fallback variants and be sure that your sequence will be sent to all prospects in your list. So this is really, really underestimated tool and tip for lots of people who send cold emails at scale, right? So this one is the simplest one. And when it comes to cold outreach, to the template itself, here's how we can change our cold email template based on this variable. So here's a generic one I shared a moment ago, and now we just add those fallback variants to all possible variables we have here. For example, hi first name, hi there, company. We are working with companies at tech space. They're not sure if your company is in the market, and we help other companies in the B2B space, for example. So that's how you can still be sure that you will send emails to all prospects, right? And again, this is really, really powerful tool for cold outreach, especially if you rely on high volume, low touch cold outreach, right? Lots of emails, lots of sequences, lots of prospects in your list, and there is a possibility that you can miss a variable there. And tip number 2 is conditional variables. So here's how it works. You can create a simple variable, for example, I don't know, industry or company size, or I don't know, whatever you prefer, and whatever variable you use in your cold emails. We can use conditional variables that will be changed based on data. So for it's that simple if-else logic. For example, if A, then do this. If B, do this. If C, do this, right? So conditional variables can help us like massively improve, heavily improve our email templates at scale with like and it's still super easy to implement this, super simple to implement this strategy. So here's example here. Conditional variable. For example, in our template, we use CTA open to learning a bit more. So for every single prospect in our list, we will send pretty much the same CTA, open to learning a bit more. But when we rely on conditional variables, for example, time of week, day of week, let's say Monday, Tuesday, we can modify our email templates based on this condition. If, for example, if Monday, we can say, would you be open to having a call? If Tuesday, open to learning a bit more. If it is Wednesday, interested in unpacking how we can help. And then you can basically experiment with your CTAs. In this case, you can change, you can A/B test things, and you can see what CTA actually works better, right? So this condition is based on time, like day of week. There are a bunch of them. There are a bunch of them here at Reply. Basically, you can use, and again, it depends on your creativity how you can use them. So you can just go to advanced section here, and there are a bunch of these variables. It's day, it's weekday, it's like days from now, time of the day of week, and you can use even your custom variables for personalization. For example, we can use like industry in this situation. We can say, hey, if industry, let's say industry is like SaaS, we can say, hey, we have already helped SaaS companies in your space, in your vertical, for example. We can say if industry equals recruiting, we can say, hey, we have already helped recruiting companies like company 1, company B. So that's how we can customize our templates based on data we have in our variables. Super powerful tool. I highly encourage you to give it a try, because personally, I love using them. So, and when it comes to conditional variables, so now we have this template, right, with fallback variables, and now we want to, let's say, modify CTA based on conditions. And now we just add these two lines, and we have highly customizable cold email based on day of the week. So yeah, and first useful bonus content here. I have created a massive list of conditional variables ideas for you, so you can just play around with them. There's gonna be a link we will send after the presentation as well, of course, so you can just give them a try. Just copy and paste into your cold email templates and give them a try. So yeah, enjoy. By the way, I will be adding way more to this document. We'll be adding more ideas in terms of conditional variables to the list. So feel free to bookmark this file. So all right, this was the first bonus content here. Tip number 3 is personalization triggers. Nowadays, they're talking about a lot about intent-based cold outreach. So typically, there are a bunch of generic and already well-known categories here, like technographics, job changers, hiring intent, LinkedIn engagers, social listening, dark funnel, warm interest. And here's the tip for you. And for example, here's some triggers. Currently, we use at reply, like department growth, job changers, technographics, hiring trigger, startup outreach. We rely on those triggers. And here's how it works. So we have those scalable triggers that indicate that a prospect or account are ready to buy a software or ready to engage with our company. So basically, they are potentially in a buying mode, right? So they are in the market. And we use those triggers for personalizing our email templates at scale. So there is no need to fake your personalization at all. For example, we can use those triggers as a reason outreach and then hook this reason for outreach to our value proposition. For example, let's take a look at department growth. For example, hey, I noticed that company sales team has grown significantly in the past 6 months, so I thought it might be relevant. So we use this observation, this trigger as a reason for outreach, right? For example, job changers. I saw you have taken a new position as SDR leader at company, congratulations. Or hiring intent. I've been viewing companies' LinkedIn and noticed that you're hiring 5 SDRs. And so we have this reason for outreach, and we can use it as a personalization because it works as a personalized cold email at scale. So there is no need to create some fake personalization based on their location or based on their college or their university, right? So we can be relevant at scale because of these triggers. And then we can hook this trigger to our value proposition. So now, instead of having like something generic, I'm reaching out to you because I noticed that you're working at company. So given your role, I assume that cold outreach falls in your wheelhouse. We can say, hey, I'm reaching out to you because I noticed that company sales department has grown significantly in the past 6 months. And since sales outreach falls in your wheelhouse, I thought it might be relevant. So as you can see, there's a huge difference, right? But it's super easy to implement. And you may say, hey, Vlad, that's fine, but probably those triggers won't work for us. And I get it. So I have created this list of 69 more trigger-based outreach ideas. So like spend dozens of hours. I hope you will enjoy this piece of content. This is really, really awesome one. There is a playbook name, there is a playbook description, example, and sometimes I even share cold email templates for those playbooks and those trigger-based outreach ideas. So feel free to steal this spreadsheet and find a triggers that will work for your specific business, for your specific use case, and your cold outreach game. So hope you will enjoy this one. All right, now tip number 4 is data categorization. We've been doing this since, I guess, maybe 2019. And when I talk to lots of different like salespeople, sales leaders, they still wondering, wow, how you do that? And I'll explain what I mean in terms of data categorization. So imagine you have some piece of data for every prospect in your list. For example, job title or their location or, I don't know, industry. And based on this piece of information, you can create multiple variables, like lots of additional variables that will be changed based on this piece of information. For example, in my case, that's going to be job title. So I have, for example, sales director or head of sales, an inside sales leader, a VP of inside sales leader, an SDR manager. And then we can actually categorize those job titles. And then we can create additional variables like job title plural, job title department, job title responsibility, benefits they can get from using reply, etc. So just having one piece of information, a sales leader, now we can create a plural for them: sales leaders, department, sales, responsibility, revenue growth, or sales team productivity, etc. And then we can just download a spreadsheet of our prospects with these additional variables and add them to a sequence and use them to personalize email even further. So here's how it works for us. Let me check my Airtable. This is actually a spreadsheet on steroids. So here's a spreadsheet. Here's a list of prospects there, like a real data sample here. And we have somewhat maybe 100 or something contacts here. And as always, just for all salespeople, lead generators, SDRs, it's quite typical situation. You have a list, you have email, you have first name, last name, title, maybe company, and that's it. That's how typically they add contact to their spreadsheet, to their sales engagement platform, and that's it, right? But we can go even further, and based on job title and standardized job title, we can create additional variables. As I said, I just can change, for example, their job title, and I will have a bunch, lots of new fields here. Basically, simple if-else logic is the same you can implement in Google spreadsheets or Excel, etc. So now we have standardized job title, greeting, department, title, responsibility, benefit based on the job title, pain point based on the job title, and we have even similar companies we already help based on their industry. So we can have different contacts from different industries with different personas, job titles, and still be relevant and personalized at scale, just because of these additional variables. And then we can just add them to our reply account. And when you import them, you will have them here. So for example, I don't know, similar company 1, similar company 2, etc. And then boom, you have way more personalized cold emails at scale. Super powerful prospecting tip, harder to implement, but it is worth it. Right, so here's how this data categorization works for us. We know typical job titles, we know, and then we can categorize their department, their title responsibility. And the best part is here that with ChatGPT, it's basically getting way easier to implement them, because you can use prompts to categorize data at scale. You can just say, hey, here's the list of job titles, categorized based on, I don't know, department, sales, HR, C-level, tech, etc. So it is way easier nowadays. And when we implement those things, we can say something like, in this generic email template, improved one based on reason for outreach, we say, hey, since sales outreach falls in your wheelhouse, probably not all salespeople are responsible for sales outreach, and that's isn't the way we can help them here, right? So we can add this title responsibility variable and be personalized for different job titles like account executives, SDR leaders, sales leaders, etc. And the same with department. So we can say, there is no need to say, hey, we can help you improve your sales team effectiveness if you reach out to VP of sales development, right? Because they're interested in improving their SDR team effectiveness or marketing team effectiveness, right? So that's how you can be way more personalized, and your emails will sound like more natural. Okay, so let me know in the chat what's your favorite tip so far. So we discussed 4 tips. It is fallback variable, it is conditional variable, it is personalization triggers, and data categorization. So let me know which one is your favorite so far. Let me check the chat. Okay, feel free to ask your question. I will check the chat from time to time. So let's see. Okay, Garen has a comment. Fallback variables just means your data is bad. Data points are so easy to get hold of now. In bulk, I feel you like just lazy and probably won't contribute to your pipeline. I agree, but again, it depends on your volumes. It depends on your use case. Sometimes there are some pieces of information you can't find. Basically, for example, revenue. You can't find like a revenue number for every SaaS company out there, for example. So you basically it's a good option for some like fallback variables are good for basically for some like unique types of variables for every single like business. So yeah. But I agree with you. That's because of the laziness. But yeah, but true. For not first name, not company names. These are generic ones, and you can probably find all of them. And you can just, if you put an extra effort, you will definitely find a company name. But yes, but there are a bunch of variables. It's impossible to find, but you still want them to be in your sequence, right? So you can just say just something generic, what you assume about their business. All right. What's the triggers sheet? Where is the trigger sheet? We will send. We'll send. Oh, maybe let me send to you the link right now. Just give me a sec. Triggers. Here we go. I'm not sure if I can send it from here. Boom. Just send it. So yeah, enjoy it. Okay, let's move on. Share the entire screen. Boom. All right. So strategy tip number 5: use customers' language. So this will work for lots of brands, basically for well-known brands. It can work for small business as well. You just need to talk to your customers and use their customers' language and use their language. So here's how it works. And typically, there is a huge difference in what marketing thinks about your product, what sales team thinks about your product, and what actually customers say and think about your product. For example, let's assume the situation with reply. So marketing team can think that we are the best in class sales engagement platform. What sales team or SDRs can say that we are a multi-channel cold outreach tool. So we explain the value of our product, right? But what actually customers say about reply, so that we help achieve personalized outbound sales at scales. The same, for example, with another piece of software like marketing can say that we are conversational and revenue intelligence software. Sales team, on the other hand, can say, hey, we help forecast and deal boards tool. We are forecast and deal boards tool that could improve your deal execution. So that's how you explain the value of your product for a decision maker. And what actually customers say about your product, that they are a platform for call coaching and reviewing conversation with prospects. So there is a huge difference between these voices, right? So, and when it comes to cold outreach, we should implement what actually our customers say about our product, implement this voice of customers into our templates and our sequences. So here's how it works. You can just go, for example, if you're a tech company or SaaS company, you can go to G2, or if you are like a service business, you can go to, I don't know, to some other websites like, forget their name, sorry about that. You can go just to those review aggregation websites and check what your customers say about your product and what problem you help solve them. For example, here at Reply, what one of our customers said. So we help grow sales because we help reach out to prospect on a large scale while still keep the feeling of personal touch with each person. I'm pretty sure that not all salespeople in our organization can use pretty much the same language, right? Because we have our own vision of our product, but here's what our customers say about us, right? And we need to incorporate these words in our cold emails. So now let's say instead of saying that we help, they all use reply for cold outreach that feels personalized and more human, we can say, hey, they all use reply for growing sales by reaching out to prospect on a large scale. But again, the tip here is not just to use a random one, but use just those like phrases and sentences that were said like dozens of times. So like similar ones, I would say, similar like reviews, for example, in our situation, right? So that's how we can slightly improve our copy and be more relevant, right? Tip number 6 here is copywriting tips. I just created a bunch of them. Yes, like use uncertain language or tentative tone, use curiosity language, simplifier language, avoid abbreviations, avoid buzzwords, and be yourself. So let's check all of these. Let's check all of these tips here, copywriting tips. So these copywriting tips are small and interesting things that can help you improve your copy and be like more human and more personal. And so here, for example, when it comes to uncertain language and tentative tone, we can add something: I'm not sure if you're in the market, not sure if your team has already implemented. I'm guessing you're already thinking about. It looks like you're hiring more salespeople. If I'm not mistaken, my assumption is that. I assume that. So use this tentative tone just to predict something about them, and this will help a little bit more. Then use curiosity language. So I'm curious, just out of my curiosity, I was wondering, it got me thinking, what if, have you already, curious if you would be open, use this curiosity language as well. For example, we can even combine those two together. So for example, I'm not sure if you're in the market, but just out of my curiosity, I checked your company's website, for example, and noticed that you're looking for salespeople. So you can basically combine them together. When it comes to simplifier language, instead of saying we are sales engagement platform, we can say we are cold outreach and email outreach automation software. Instead of saying we are conversation and revenue intelligence software, we can say we are a meeting recorder that transcribes and summarizes your calls. So there's no need to use these like super hard concepts, super cool wording and language, right? So you can just be simpler here, basically. And as an option, avoid abbreviations, because not all of us can understand them. So in that case, they won't get the point of your cold email. For example, we can help you cut your COG by increasing MQLs that will convert into PQLs based on NLP AI-powered intent signals. So in reality, it sounds cool, but what does it mean for them, right? So it probably won't work in your cold outreach. So instead of saying CAC, say customer acquisition cost, because in different verticals, in different like professions, crafts, customer CAC can mean something else, something different. So instead of saying MQL, say probably leads or marketing leads, whatever you prefer. So basically avoid abbreviations. And the rule here is the more straightforward your words, the wider your audience. So here's how it works. The same with buzzwords. Avoid things like best in class, we're amazing, we're number one, we're industry leader, we're top provider. So in most cases, they don't care about this. Maybe some of them like won't work with only the best tools, the best agency or etc. But in most cases, they will ignore this, and you basically just added like additional words to your cold email, and you can avoid them. And be yourself. What I mean here, if you prefer a formal voice of tone, use it. If you prefer emojis and memes, use them. If you prefer storytelling, write a story. If you prefer numbers, use numbers in your cold emails, because that's how you can be unique and right and differentiate yourself from the crowd. So yeah, just add some pieces of your personality to cold emails. Because again, this one may sound like a good copy, but pretty much there is no personality here, right? So anyone can write this cold email, basically. As they're a salesperson, even AI can do that. So there is no personality, actually. So, and when we implement those copywriting tips, here are some changes. I already implemented that. Thought it might be relevant. Not sure if company is in the market. I thought you might be interested in. So I'm curious. Would you be open for having a conversation? So here's some of them. Of course, I also love using personalized images, sometimes GIFs. You can use them as well. I love them. And tip number 7 is outreach localization. So here's how it works. For example, here's a story. I had been to Italy like almost, I guess, 5 years ago, and in Italy they say ciao, and I heard ciao lots of times. Every time you have a conversation with a friend, they say ciao, basically, which means hi in Italian. And then it got me thinking, wow, what if I can personalize my greetings in my cold emails based on prospect location or prospect's country? And then I created like a list of all countries we reach out to, and then I figured out how they say hi in their language. So that's why I asked you in the very beginning, in icebreaker section. So because greeting is the very first thing we use in our cold emails, and we can be like personalized even here and make our emails even better. So I downloaded the list of all countries. Then I figured out how they say hi in their native language, and then we added a custom field to our sequences, to our list, and based on prospect location, we change our greeting for every single prospect. So, and now in all my sequences, I use basically greeting variable combined with a fallback variable. Let's say it's going to work like this. Greeting, then fallback variation. If I have no data here, it's going to be hi. So, and I can personalize my emails based on this information as well. So why not, right? And sometimes it worked pretty good for me, because they were replying back the same. If I say hola, they will say hola Vlad. So it's a great conversation starter. So I highly encourage to give it a try and play around with it. Okay, and another great thing is that you can experiment with those greetings, because in most cases you have prospect location in modern B2B databases, etc. So you can play around with it, and you can actually even personalize your call to action. You can personalize your intro line, let's say, based on their location. So you can change even sign off, your signature based on their locations. Again, this is just about your creativity. Yeah. And another idea when it comes to sequence localization is localize your email templates. So a few years ago, we decided to reach out to Brazilian market, Brazilian prospects from Brazil, basically, and we just started our cold outreach. And then I realized I didn't know about that. Sounds like lots of people do that, but they are not sharing information about this. So they create localized email templates based on prospect location. And in this case, I created an email template for Brazilian prospects from Brazil. And you can see the results yourself. Here's the first one is personalized based on their language. And the second one is an English version. So you can see here the open rate is pretty much the same, but reply rate is almost 2x higher. The same with interesting rate. It was like almost 3x higher. And so conclusion here, if you use their native language, they are more likely to reply back. But the downside here is that probably you will need salespeople or SDRs who can speak this language, because it's gonna be awkward to like to have these localized sequences, but have no salespeople who are speaking this language. So yeah, here's the idea, and it worked pretty well for us. All right, Q&A session. Let me check the chat. All right. Oops, my camera is dying. Let me change the. All right, so thanks. We have a question. We use Lucia, but I'm interested to hear what other solution sources people are using. Okay, yeah, there are a bunch of them. I can even share a useful link here. Boom, you can use, like, they're saying good words about Prospero these days, so give it a try, I guess. I use Sales Navigator from the Ambassador to find emails. All right, how can I use ChatGPT to help me create awesome sequences? We have created a custom GPT for that, but in most cases you need just a good prompt, and we also have that one. I can share this. Just give me a second. Yep, here we go. All right, this should help. Yeah, enjoy. All right, so let me share the screen again. So entire screen share. All right, as always, bonus event. By the way, tomorrow we'll have a bonus event where I'll be sharing 4 more useful prospecting tips. It's gonna be a community-only event, so join the community at reply.io community. Join us tomorrow. I will have this like bonus event, and I will share 4 more useful prospecting tips there. So yeah, I will announce it in our Slack chat. And then, as always, let's stay in touch, join the community, connect with me on social media. You can scan the QR code so we can connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to answer your question there. Follow us on social media. And so yeah, super happy to chat with you about prospecting, cold outreach, list building, AI, personalization, personalized outreach at scale. So yeah, happy to have this conversation with you. And as always, thank you. And I guess have a great day. See you in 2 weeks. Take care. Bye.